Impressive performance it was as well from the champions, albeit against 10 men. I know Chelsea had a man sent off, but nonetheless, still a good performance from them, wasn't it?
I think they won at Alcantara. I thought they had extra gears they could have moved into. Chelsea wasn't particularly good. I think Frank got the team wrong. I think the midfield was very similar. Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante in there, lacked guile. They lacked a punch up front. You know, we saw the new guys up there, and Timo Werner especially had some good opportunities on 1v1 situations. And he didn't make the most of it. So, no, Liverpool's point of view, it was a very easy day at the office.
Yeah, there was a bit of talk about Liverpool perhaps not delving into the transfer market, and it took them a while to do that. Jota's come in, and so too Thiago. How good was he when he came on?
Brilliant. Gives them a different dimension. You know, he takes the ball anywhere on the pitch, in tight areas. He keeps it. He plays at a correct tempo. He doesn't only pass the ball loads more than any other player on the pitch. He actually tries to pass it forward. He looks up first, so he looks to the front three, see if they're making runs. If it's on to pass it forward, he will. If it's on to keep it, he's the controller of the game. He dictates what pace they play at. The only worry for me and for the Liverpool fans is that he can slow it up at times. He can slow that game up because we know when they're at their best, they are 100 mile an hour on the attack all of the time.
Look at the stats. I think it tells you everything that you need to know. He actually broke a record for a player that only played 45 minutes. 75 completed passes, tried 82, so that tells you his completion rate was pretty good. 88 touches. We can compare it a little bit to Jordan Henderson, albeit, again, 10 men second half. So it's slightly different, but Jordan Henderson having a lot less passes and a lot more than all three of the Chelsea midfield as well, over 90 minutes.
I think that just shows you how Liverpool was so dominant within the game. I think if you had a stat there of breaking the game up and tackles, I think Jordan Henderson would be ahead of him. They're completely different players, but Thiago is certainly something what they didn't have. I think it gives them the opportunity when games are won to slow the game down and to actually keep possession and rest in possession of the football. And I think that's what they've missed. I think it gives them now, I always felt, even though they won the league last year and they were fantastic, but they'd never had anyone to slow the game down and give them a rest in some games. You know, and I think it's really beneficial if you rest in possession of the football, and I think Thiago's going to give them that opportunity.
Do you think Jordan Henderson gets enough credit as well for his passing ability? I mean, everyone talks about him being energetic, breaks play up, good at the defensive side of the game. But what about this against Chelsea at the weekend? This is for the sending off, in actual fact. I'm going to pause it there. I mean, how often have we seen this run from Sadio Mane? Makes that run, doesn't he, from out to in all the time. Salah likewise on the other side. It's a pinpoint pass, though, isn't it, from Jordan Henderson?
Sadio knows that Jordan's capable of doing it, otherwise he wouldn't have made a run in the first place. So he's got that ball there, and he's already on his way. He's already made his mind up, and there's a wide open space in between them two centre-backs of Chelsea. And he delivers a perfect pass. The hard thing here is not seeing the pass. It's not a hard pass to see. It's can you execute it?
And it's the weight of the pass. Yeah, it's the weight of the pass. So when he, obviously, it's absolutely perfect. Right in between the two centre-halves. I mean, it's a ridiculous challenge, isn't it, from Christensen? No complaints, was there, about
No, and it's another mix-up between the goalkeeper and the centre-backs, and we see it far too often with Chelsea, and it's going to really affect where they finish in this league unless they sort this position. And, listen, you'll see him give the ball away about 20 times this season. You know, the kid don't give the football away, but he looks to pass forward. He's a fantastic acquisition to that team, and he gives them something different. He's not going to break up play. No. He's not going to burst forward, but he's going to control the ball, and he's going to dictate the pace of the game for Liverpool.
And what is his best position in that Liverpool?
As a 6 for me.
He has to be a 6?
I think he can play as an 8, but I think they'll go more defensive when they play the likes of Man City and a team so they think they can beat him.
The reason I ask is because the man who normally plays in that position, or more regularly than any other, in all honesty, should be doing that. Is it because he's worried about Fabinho?
I think he believes he's going to get back at him. I think he wants to get it back onto his right foot too quickly. You're absolutely right. Take it in there and score.
He's got a shot on goal.
Yeah, but I think he's lacking confidence, even at this early stage. And they know he's playing against a very good defender. Now he shows him into trouble and he just nicks the ball off him. And when he gets it, he can just play. He gives it to people, doesn't want any self-indulgence. He wants to defend. He knows he's there to defend, and he can deal with a 1v1 situation and just nick the ball clean.
Look at Van Dijk. Watch Van Dijk. Just watch Van Dijk. Watch his reaction to this. Watch the big clap.
Yeah.
He knows what Fabinho's doing.
Yeah, that's a pat on the back he needs. I mean, it's good leadership from Van Dijk.
And nicks it in
now,
front.
can I nick it? Yes, I can. Can I play simple? Yes, I can as well. Get back in position. I think he's found a partner there.
Yeah.
You know, as much as he would want to play, I did it myself. I dropped back there a few times. I didn't like it. But he looks like someone who enjoys defending there with Van Dijk.
Well,
why wouldn't you? He's been a fullback. You get so much of the ball, and it's easier in possession, Matt. We know as midfield players, when you drop back to a defensive area, you get more time. The problem you have is the geography of the position, but he's being helped out. You pointed out there by a leader.
Yeah.
Van Dijk is pulling him around, telling him where to go, and he's a quick learner.
Yeah, well, alongside Van Dijk, actually, his numbers were even better in terms of Liverpool's rank. 4 tackles, which was the best. Yeah. Interceptions 4, possession 1, 12. Touches was only second, and successful passes top as well. It was a pretty good all-round performance from him, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I mean, Gomez and the like will be hoping they get their position back because but I'm sure that it's his to lose now.
Isn't it about Fabinho, a centre midfielder going to play at the back? You said you did it, didn't particularly like it. I actually did it quite a bit in my career, didn't mind it. I mean, I much prefer to play in the middle of the pitch where you're more involved, you're box to box, you're on the ball more, you get in the box to score goals. But at the same time, it's a much easier position to play centre-half with everything in front of you.
In possession,
In possession,
yeah, absolutely. Because when Leroy's absolutely right, when he's highlighting the midfield players who are coming off, he is one of them midfield players. So he knows exactly where they need it, when they want to receive it, if it's right to turn out and give it to Virgil van Dijk. He knows how to control the game from that position. It's much easier. Now, the problems will come. And listen, they're not playing any poor teams here. They're playing against Chelsea. You know, there was a lot of people talking about Chelsea maybe being the challengers to Liverpool and Man City this season. Now, he dealt very one-on-one perfectly well. You know, he knows what it's all about. But in possession, there's not a problem. I mean, he's giving it to players like Keita and Henderson in front of him. He doesn't need to. They're only 5 yards in front of him. He can do that himself. He's a better player in possession than they are. And defensively, he can cope. And it looks like the problem I had is I wanted to always get involved. I wanted to dribble forward. I wanted to get involved too much. Sometimes you just need to do your job, no self-indulgence, give it to the players who are in front of you.
So what is Liverpool's best midfield 3 then, do you think? Are we thinking Fabinho long-term is going to be alongside Van Dijk or play at the back more often? Is that the best partnership for Liverpool? Or what about the midfield, the makeup of the midfield 3 then? Is Fabinho still the best holding midfield player? Thiago and, say, Wijnaldum or Henderson? What does he do?
I think horses for courses, depending on when they play the likes of Man City and whoever emerges to be challengers. Obviously, we highlighted their play. And Chelsea played a very stodgy midfield, in my opinion, there. Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic, all good in their own right, but all very, very similar. I think you need a blend across your midfield. Wijnaldum seems to be the player who will always play. If there was a big game, Jurgen Klopp would say, well, you are playing. Henderson is his captain. You would think he's going to play. So I would think that we're looking at Thiago to come in where Keita is and leave Fabinho where he is.
It is interesting. I mean, it actually probably suited Liverpool, didn't it, at the weekend, to bring Thiago on at half-time. The Henderson injury probably helped them against a team who had 10 men. We're going to sit back. We're going to make it difficult to break them down. To then bring on Thiago to play in that position. So against teams where they might have a lot of the ball and a lot of it against a team that's very deep, Thiago would be absolutely perfect. Against teams who are more energetic, Man City, etc., would that necessarily work?
Well, his best attribute is in possession. I mean, Thiago out of possession remains to be seen. I think he can intercept, he can read the play, he can certainly take the ball and relieve pressure from his back players by taking it in tight areas and getting turned and passing between the lines for the front 3. Out of possession is where he's going to have a problem. Certainly when you're playing against the Bruyners of this world. I mean, they will power him out the way. They can dribble past him. That is where he's going to have the problem. But I'm sure Jurgen Klopp realises that and he will change his team accordingly.
There's no doubt Thiago's been a brilliant signing. It's just been a couple in at Liverpool. A little bit different at Chelsea, isn't it? I mean, multiple changes, not necessarily all playing at the moment because he's got a few injuries, etc. What have you made of them so far? Havertz, Werner, for instance, we've seen a bit of them.
Kai Havertz, for me, jury is massively out. We've seen players time and time again very good in other countries. When they come to the most competitive league in the world, which is the Premier League, they struggle. You got to give him time to settle. I thought Werner would hit the ground running. He was poor at the weekend. He had some good one-on-one opportunities when I felt against which you would have to say, a midfield player in Fabinho who would go by him. Didn't do it. I still think he will be a massive success for Werner, playing off the left-hand side. They need a number 9. We talked about it last.
You'd prefer him off the left?
I prefer him off the left, yeah.
But what about Pulisic?
Pulisic, when he comes, I think he can come off the right. I think they've got that, but they need a number 9. That, for me, they're always better with Giroud in the team. We saw him when he came in for Tammy Abraham last season. When Giroud played, they were better. They need a focal point.
I've got to be honest, I think they missed the trick there, really, particularly in this game against Liverpool, where they needed someone to just try and bypass that press at Liverpool.
Yeah.
And Giroud would have been absolutely perfect in terms of just trying to play the ball up, give your midfield a little bit of a breather, give them a chance to get up and join him as well. I'm surprised he hasn't really featured, because he did brilliantly post-lockdown as well, didn't he?
Frank's obviously giving Kai Havertz the opportunity. He doesn't want to knock his confidence straight away, but it might be right for him to come out. But if he continues to play and doesn't have an impact at the moment, you can't say he's had an impact on any of the minutes he's played. So I think it might be a time for a change, or give him one more go. Get a goal. You never know. Once the confidence comes with goals as goal scorers, then. But for me, Giroud plays for me.
One of the big stories, probably for Chelsea, is the goalkeeper situation. Should he have started the season, in your mind?
No, for me, I'm not a big fan of Kepa because of that League Cup final when he refused to come off with Sarri. I can't get it out of my mind. Unfortunately, it's as much as I should be able to bury it, I just can't. So I think he's average. I think his shot percentage is very, very poor. Mm-hmm. And I think he gives his back 4 or 5 a nervous time because they're not sure about him.